beforehand. I watched one of the podcasts, and I fucking moved my microphone like every fucking 2 seconds.
It's the most annoying thing for me.
Sha sha sha. Sha
You need to let me know.
sha la la. Itsuka
I edited all that out. That whole after the clap. You're good.
Are we good to go?
Yeah. When you do your intro, whenever you do that, I'll just cut everything out before that.
Lao Tzu.
Powering on.
That's so crazy.
Battery is full.
Lao Tzu was supposed to be like
Ready
a
to
made
pair.
up person that didn't really exist.
Paired.
What's the Greek philosopher who was made up?
Are we ready?
Ernest Hemingway.
No, Hemingway
Are
was
we
a real
ready?
person.
Okay.
He's getting ready.
People of the world, we are the three philosophers. We're here to talk about everything. We're here to talk about nothing. Hopefully we're here to talk about something that you like, that interests you, that grabs your fancy. Let's do this.
Alright, cool. Here's a down poem. Not exalting the gifted prevents quarreling. Not exalting treasure prevents stealing. Not seeing desirable things prevents confusion of the heart. The wise therefore rule by empowering hearts and suffering beliefs, by weakening ambitions and strengthening bones. If people lack knowledge and desire, then intellectuals will not try to interfere. If nothing is done, then all will be well.
It's been a second. It's been
I think like 2 weeks, man.
It's been at least 3 weeks. Been
3 weeks? Holy fuck.
So sorry all the fans or anyone who might have been following us.
Yeah. We didn't fall off the face of the earth. We exist. There's life. Life reared its ugly head.
Reincarnation.
It smells like floor cleaner.
The beer that we're drinking?
It tastes like floor cleaner.
I don't even.
We are partaking a kombucha ale, which has live bacteria and live cultures, kind of like a yogurt and stuff like that.
Basically, put your shit in water and drink it.
But it's also a beer.
Yeah.
You know those fucking the little noodle super soaker things that you stick into a pool and you go.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody just did that with like bull cum, and then shoved it in my mouth, and that's what that tastes like.
But it's good for you. It's gluten free.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Vegan, unpasteurized, unfiltered.
I'm sorry, everything vegan tastes like shit.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right
That's why
now
it's
that
half full in here.
vegan food is fucking delicious. I worked at a vegan restaurant, and that shit is.
That vegan
fucking-
restaurant was a front.
Okay, look, here's my problem with vegan food. Vegan food always, whatever it is, it labels itself as food that normal people eat. Like, one of the things we had was, you put it in a RoboCoupe, which fucking, like, blends the shit out of shit. It was, like,
Blends the
walnuts
shit out of shit.
and, cumin and a couple other spices, but they're walnuts blended up, and they called it taco meat.
But it wasn't taco.
It was pretty goddamn close to being taco meat, tasty wise. Yeah, thank you. But you know, it fucking wasn't. But if they had called it like something, you know, like if vegan food gave food its own name, like pureed walnuts. Pureed walnut tacos or some shit, then I think more people would eat it. But when you call something taco meat and I hand you pureed walnuts with some spices, you're like, bro, you trying to shit on me right now? That's not fucking taco meat.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's not fucking taco
Where's
meat.
the
Why
Walmart taco spices?
Why are you fucking calling this taco meat?
So break out your creation theory.
Lick my balls.
Oh, okay. So, if you take all of the species on planet Earth and do a Venn diagram with them, in the center would be what I would classify as libido.
piss.
Hot piss. Libido. Libido. The ability to create. Because... Procreate. Because if we have a creator, then what we would strive for is to be the creator. And since we can never get to the point of being the creator, what the creator did was create. So the closest that we can get through all species on planet Earth is to create.
And thus that makes us gods.
Ooh, as close as we possibly can get.
So when we develop robots, that's the ultimate goal, is to be godlike.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Us building robots is trying to get as close as we can to create, like our creator did. And when we make robots, if we make them in the image of us, how so many religious texts say that God created it from us, then our creations will strive to become like us. And since they're fucking robots, they'll be able to obtain that super fast. So they'll want to be like the creator's creator.
But what if God, because the Bible, through the translations that have been lost through the centuries, a lot of the scholars now today say the original texts were, it never said God, it said gods, plural.
The
And
only
so what if
time that
the
I know that
gods
gods were...
What if the gods were the Anunnaki from Nibiru and were just gold slave laborers to mine for gold and help them with their superior technology?
Then we're doing a pretty good job.
And then they're going to come back like every 26,000 years and like...
Is that close? Every 26,000
It's
years?
supposed to be the cycle.
Well,
of
that's
Nibiru.
supposed to be when the Earth's Kundalini energy transforms.
Climbs to the next level.
And that also coincides with the when Earth is now on the age of Aquarius, the age of Taurus, the age of Scorpio.
So what are we about to enter?
I think we...
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
It's Aquarius. And apparently on August 31st is going to be the first full solar eclipse that passes over the continental United States in like 99 years. And it'll go from like South Carolina across over to Oregon. So if you get in that zone, that one little strip of area, you're going to be able to see like a perfect solar eclipse. And they say it's like super eerie. Like night creatures come out because they think it's night, only it's day.
Speaking of
It gets
creatures
weird.
not understanding what fucking time it is, cicadas are coming out of hibernation 4 years early.
Ooh.
There's some cicadas that live in Florida, and they are called 17-year cicadas.
Yeah,
Right.
we have
Where
those
they
in
live
Nashville.
fucking in the fucking ground for 17 years. And they're coming out 4 years early.
I remember 17
Is that
years
global
ago.
warming?
Well, I don't use the word global warming, I use climate change because...
I mean, same fucking difference.
No,
No.
because if you say global warming, every redneck that goes to Walmart says, well, hell, it snowed today.
Oh, yeah.
And they
I brought in
automatically-
I'm talking at the Senate. Here is a snowball. There's no such thing. Here's a snowball.
Therefore,
Oh
there's no
my
such thing as
God.
global warming.
Seriously, I hope you fucking
So-
die in a car fire.
I say climate change, and what climate change is cyclical, but also influenced by man, and it throws everything out of whack. So hot places become cold places become hot, rainy places become dry places become rainy.
Florida,
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. California has been in a drought for fucking, I don't even know how long. If
7
you look
years.
at the rivers that, or I don't even know what the fuck they're called. If you look at California where they get their water from pictures of like 2000 to now, there is a world of difference. Like, an absolute world of difference. You're like,
because most
what
of it
the
came
fuck?
from snowmelt.
Hey, did you pull this from the house? Yeah. I killed flies on this thing.
Nice. So one quick thing
Damn it.
I want to bring up that we can dive into and explore is last week Chris Cornell died. The lead singer of Soundgarden, Audio Slave, and a bunch of other stuff. Amazing voice.
Oh, so did the guy who ran Robert Ailes?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Chris
Yeah.
Cornell.
Exactly. So the intro was in tribute to Chris Cornell. But one of the things a lot of people talked about is he was found with a strap around his throat, and they were like, oh, he committed suicide. That's initially what the coroner said. And I got in a couple blasts on Facebook with assholes that were like, fuck that dude, he's got children and suicide, fuck him, he didn't think of his kids, blah, blah, blah. So my argument on Facebook was, first of all, any kind of mental illness, depression, anxiety, whatever, is very unique to the individual, and none of us are God, speaking of God, and none of us can understand, what kind of dark demons someone may or may not be fighting or how to deal with them.
That's because we use words to describe emotions.
Exactly.
And emotions are...
Sometimes don't translate.
Yeah.
Let's go have sex. I'll show you my emotions.
Words are linear. You have a word, you have a sentence, you have a paragraph.
It's like math.
Boop, 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 boop. Then you have a story. Emotions are
All over the board.
instantaneous.
Yeah.
You can't describe emotions in words. That's why people love music so much.
Right.
Because it's the description of emotions that are pervasive through all walks of life, regardless of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You just feel it.
Well,
like an emotion.
Later it came out that he had been suffering from depression and anxiety and was taking Ativan. And apparently Ativan, like, ironically, a lot of pharmaceuticals meant to treat depression, if you take too many, they actually cause suicidal thoughts, which is really,
Dude, every
really
fucking depression medication I've ever heard causes suicidal thoughts.
It's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Oh, you're depressed, you're thinking about suicide? Here, take this medication. It's going to make
More
you think about it more.
suicide.
Yeah.
So supposedly
You
that's
getting more
that's the issue.
You should.
And the other piece to the story is they started listing all the different celebrities that have...
That's the 26-year-old...
27.
Or 27.
The 27 Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Chris Cornell was 52, but...
They tried to make me go to rehab, but I said, suck my balls. That's not how the song goes, but you know who I'm singing about.
Yeah.
Amy Winehouse. So hot.
But the point is how many people, and I don't think there's too many. It's not about just the famous people that are taking their lives. I think that's just putting up a spotlight on what happens during normal people. Famous people are normal people in the beginning anyway, before they got famous, right? So
Yeah.
all the normal afflictions of anxiety, depression, whatever, you're just seeing a piece of that under a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ultimate issue that kind of I was getting at is how fucked up the pharmaceutical industry really is, and how we should just go back to nature, man. Plant medicines don't have the kind of side effects that all these pharmaceuticals created in a lab.
No.
Man can't always do everything better.
And this is, okay,
Sometimes nature gets it right.
I have been, because, eventually I need to tell my parents what I'm doing. So I go through stages of people who agree with me to stages of people who don't agree with me. So I went and talked to my friend, and I was like, look, there's something. I need to go. I need to either be on drugs or some shit. I was like, look, if I need to be on drugs, there is a single drug that people have taken, ayahuasca, that has
It's not a
alleviated.
drug, it's medicine.
No,
It's a medicine.
it's still a drug.
It's a medicine.
I mean, the drugs that that people think that I should be on is considered a medicine as
Now
well.
it's a religion.
Well, I think the point though is when you use drugs.
Well, it's only a religion because America, so they can legally do it.
When you use the word drug, it's like using the word God, right? It's got a different connotation. Whereas
Yeah.
if you use medicine, it's got a different connotation.
Right?
So a lot of times if you say drug, automatically, oh, you're on drugs.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say I'm taking
Oh,
medicine.
you're doing ayahuasca? You're on drugs.
Right.
No.
That's why I say medicine.
It's a medicine.
Exactly.
Oh, you did LSD the other day? Yeah. It's because it's a goddamn medicine and it makes you fucking feel okay. Don't be an asshole. You want me to be on drugs forever? You want me to take a pill every single morning and every single night?
Well, as long as it
Or-
comes from a lab.
Or I can go do one drug and be cool for fucking however long it lasts. A year or so, and then go do it again.
It's also fun to down a bottle of NyQuil and try to jerk off before you pass out. You always win, though.
We can't ever have a serious conversation with this.
No, I'm sorry.
He out of the three philosophers, we have one that likes to stay in the shallow kitty end of the pool.
Yeah, he does not like to philosophize.
He gets very uncomfortable the deeper the darker
Dive, bitch.
conversations.
We'll give you a snorkel.
I just like to joke around.
Mhm.
You can have a snorkel.
You just like to stay shallow.
We'll give you a scuba tank.
You just like to assume.
Just don't breathe through your nose. Breathe through your mouth.
About to put my dick in your nose. Keep
Put
doing
my
that.
dick in your mouth.
You want a 69 right now?
And
Let's go for
we
it.
Let's do it.
digress.
Tell me what to do.
I come twice, so be prepared to be there for a minute or two.
Comedy comes in threes, and so do I.
Blammo.
So our buddy the orange guy met
Pope?
the Pope today.
The Pope?
Oh.
Have you seen all the memes?
No.
It shows pictures of, because the Pope is really, honestly, out of all the popes I've ever seen pictures of or read about or heard speak or whatever, this is a badass Pope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He comes from Argentina.
Yeah, he keeps it real.
He don't fuck around.
He doesn't fuck around. And he fired some shots at Trump when Trump got inaugurated. And it's funny, the religious right, all you right-wing fundamentalist Christians out there, are all God, 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 God. But when the Pope says something about environmentalism, oh, fuck him, that's Catholic. It's like he's supposed to be the spiritual leader, God's representative on earth, but fuck him if he says
He's
anything
supposed
that's
to be God's
anti-capitalism.
representative, but he's also draped in gold, lives in a gargantuan super mega mansion.
Well, that's true.
So
But
I don't understand how
But
that
this
takes place.
guy, this particular Pope, dresses down. He doesn't wear all the stuff that all the previous guys did, and
he's
he
more
refuses.
online.
He refuses to
With what-
sleep in the gaudy apartment that all the predecessors. So he's got like a little tiny studio.
Cool.
I
I
mean,
mean, he's the Pope. He's supposed to be
He's supposed to,
a
yeah.
representative of God. Live like Jesus lived, if that's what your fucking goal is, right?
but he's legit. So anyway, when Trump got elected, Trump was always talking about a wall, and when the Pope was asked to make a comment on Trump, he said, "True Christians build bridges, not walls." and thus started the feud. But all the memes out there show him in the Vatican, and he's all smiley with all the people of the entourage, and then all of a sudden he looks over at Trump and is like he stinks.
Stinks of unholiness.
And there's pictures of him with Obama and all the previous presidents, and they're like laughing and smiling. And then all the pictures of him and Trump, he's got the Pope has a scowl, and
Whatever.
he's like, what
Fuck
a moron.
politics. If he met the Dalai Lama, then I'd be like, all right, let's fucking pay attention to this.
Well, the funny thing, he lands in Israel, so his first trip is to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So his first trip abroad.
And he was also given an award.
Yeah.
Never given to any other.
For
president.
making,
Right.
like, the biggest arms
Well,
deal
yeah,
in history.
yeah. Let's.
Oh yeah.
But those two things are unrelated, according to Fox News. So anyway, he signs a giant arms deal with the Saudis and kisses their ass and gets a gold medal. Then he lands in Israel and says, "Oh man, I'm so tired. I've had such a hard trip. I just left the Middle East." And all the people in the room just look at him and like, "Are you like 4 years old? You're still in the Middle East.
Yo,
Israel is in the Middle East, dumbass."
Did you fly out of the Middle East and then fly back to the Middle East? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Because we are in the Middle East.
Jesus.
That's like flying to Boston and saying, "Yeah, I just left New England."
Mm.
Everybody, we're gonna say that they're losers. these terrorists are.
Yeah, all terrorists are now
that
lisp.
was a pretty
Because
good
that
Trump,
really
though.
that really
A
upset
little
all
bit
the
more
terrorists.
lisp, but
Oh,
I mean a little bit less lisp.
I
and
gotta
it would've
do
been
tinier
solid.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your tiny hands.
You gotta do butthole lips.
You don't use these.
No, more butthole.
More butthole.
Yeah, more butthole.
What about
Okay.
what about Stephen Colbert, the FCC getting all in his ass for saying
Cock
that
holster?
Trump's
Oh,
mouth was
dude, that
Putin's
happened-
cock holster?
What did that happened like 3 weeks ago.
We haven't done a podcast.
I don't know
on
how
Oh,
old
yeah,
this is, but
shit.
one
Let's
of
stop
the
talking about politics. Everybody else does.
congressmen or
talk about
senators or
politics.
whatever it was on Democracy Now! Of all places, but
What? Are you knocking Democracy Now?
they have good shit. But some of the articles they write is
I don't know that
weird.
lady's name, but whenever she says her name, I just think that's Jane Goodall.
So anyway, the guy's like, well, the president attacks everybody. He will attack Germany. He will attack England. He will attack anybody. He will attack any kind of sources like the EPA, this and that and that. But there's only one place he won't attack.
Russia?
Yeah, he's like, no matter. He was like, well, basically what he was saying is Putin could take a shit on your desk and he will defend it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what Anderson Cooper said to someone who
Yeah.
was,
He snapped finally.
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
Here's a question.
Let's pause
Again,
this.
if anyone's right wing and happens to watch this podcast, which I doubt that very likely, but
Oh, I don't.
so
Yeah, but
if,
we want those people.
for sure.
We want people to disagree
But-
with us to listen to us.
but
That's
I have,
how we
I
get
have
our
one
point
question.
across.
If Hillary had
Can't
a
preach
meeting,
to the choir.
if Hillary was elected, or Bernie was elected,
It
or
would be
really,
huge.
or really
Huge.
any
Huge.
Democrat was elected, and they invited
That's
the
a Bernie
Russians,
thing, bitch.
and they invited the Russians to the Oval Office, but didn't invite any American media, but only Russian media. What do you think the Republicans would say?
Fucking go ape shit.
They would be going ape shit. It would be on Fox News
Yeah.
like 24/7, breaking news.
Oh, for sure. What are you doing?
They're so hypocritical, man.
You know,
It's a flashlight.
yeah,
Let me borrow that.
It's a
this
flashlight.
was already lube. Explain to him that huge is a Trump thing.
No,
And it's also a
huge is
Brooklyn
not
thing.
a Trump thing. Huge started as a Bernie thing.
No. Huge is actually
It's a
goes
Brooklyn
back.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Oh, well, fine.
it's a Brooklyn.
They
thing.
both came from
Because-
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
but it became
Jim-
a national TV thing with Bernie.
Yeah, but Joe Pesci.
And then he started saying huge
No.
to make fun of
This
himself.
goes back to Joe Pesci in what was the movie where he defended the people in the South, where he was a lawyer. What's that old movie like in the 80s?
Yeah, I don't know the name of that
Where he was an attorney with Ralph Macchio
one.
and Marissa Tomei.
Joey the attorney.
The
I forget it.
attorney.
But he gets called in front of the judge, and the judge
Lawyer
is from the
time.
South, and he says huge,
Huge.
and the judge is like, what? Huge?
It's gonna be huge.
What?
It's huge.
That's a classic. Like,
Wait, is that the movie
Brooklyn.
where it ended, where they won because the lady
Yes.
was like,
yes.
this car tire tracks do not match the car tire track?
because of a posi traction rear end.
I know what movie you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone does.
Yeah, Joe Pesci the attorney.
No.
yeah. I think that's what it's called though.
No. What's the name?
Joey
of
the
it?
No,
attorney.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Exactly.
It's called.
It's
It's
huge.
called
a
the.
huge movie.
It's called The Attorney with Joe Pesci. Huge.
No.
Joe Pesci bless you. Joe Pesci bless you. I'm gonna go after this. I'm gonna go pray to Joe Pesci.
Nah. I prefer George Carlin's definition of God. I pray to the sun. It's there. I'll see it. You see it.
Yeah.
We all
And after
see
that,
it.
he's like, Joe Pesci bless all of you. Left.
My cousin Vinny.
Ah, yeah, you're close. I think it's still called Joe Pesci, but
Joey the attorney.
My cousin Vinny.
So I found out. Now this is some local stuff. If you go down Fairfield to Gulf Beach Highway, on the corner of Fairfield and Gulf Beach Highway, there's a Russian-owned, or it's probably not Russian. They might be Moldovan, but either way,
I mean, is that a fucking difference?
car lot. I found out in 2010, before the car lot was even there, they were renting the lot, but they were paying for it, and there was nothing there. They weren't making any money.
That's why we all have all the Russians that come in the store.
Mm-hmm. So, from the time I've lived there, I've never seen them sell a car. and they've been there for 7 years.
It's a front.
Yeah, and they didn't open until 2014.
Kind of like the Yakuza Mafia.
Yeah, it's just straight front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I've been kind of slowly diving into
Which
the
explains
Pensacola
why
Russian
all
mob.
the Russians that come up to the store have these giant, 600 class Mercedes.
Well, there used to be a big thing in Pensacola. There used to be a big Russian mob scene here. It was just not really spoken about. It was really hidden.
Well, yeah, that's how mobs work.
Not in Russia.
True.
How many Russian mobs do you know about?
In Russia?
All
of them.
In Russia.
The whole Russia was run by the mob.
Yeah. They're like out in the open.
Yeah, you would have to pay off the mob just to have protection to go walk around in Russia.
True that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so next podcast we have to either A, get Yoda in here because he's going to leave on June 6th, so quit slacking.
Yeah, bitch.
Two is the
I don't
CBD
work
guy
there anymore.
wants us to do a podcast at the CBD vape store.
That's okay.
Oh, at the store?
At the
That's
store.
legit. I can
Let's
do
do that. Dude, I can talk about weed for fucking days.
Well, this
This is
is
CBD. Can't talk about weed there.
Yeah, we're
Dude,
not talking
same
about, this is
fucking
without
difference.
No,
Yeah,
this
you-
is THC free.
Same difference.
This is THC free.
Where does CBDs come from?
Well, yes,
Oh, okay.
but the point is CBDs.
Yeah, you can't talk about weed there because then it'd
Yeah.
be conflict of interest
Yeah.
type deal.
He's under a license to be able to sell because it's a
CBD.
hemp product and
Yeah.
it's THC free. So he's pretty legit. I mean,
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I've known him for a while. Since he's been coming to the store. I helped him out passing cards for his last business. If he opens up, then we can fucking go next Wednesday and just dive on in there.
let's do it.
I can pile all this shit in the truck. That's another beautiful thing of having a truck. But yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta meet somebody.
So, another thing that we were talking about Wednesday is that everybody's spoiled and this generation's coming to shit. Is that I saw a video on YouTube that was a kid. This pretty much sums up the whole generation. Had to get a rag off a pipe. So he takes a ladder, holds it up, starts hitting the rag with the fucking the ladder with the fucking rag.
I mean, I used to get in big arguments with my nephew because he used to get tired of people bitching about his generation, millennials, and I mean I get it, but he would get like ultra defensive because it was like,
I'm not a part of my generation.
fuck everyone talking about my generation, blah 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 blah. But I can totally see that. I could understand my grandfather talking about my mom's generation, my mom talking about my generation,
And you
and
talking
me
about mine.
talking about your generation. But you got to admit there's fundamentally something different.
Significantly different.
Oh,
about
yeah,
this
that's
generation.
because the generation that I am attached to is the generation of people who understand that the school system does not match what the education should
I
be.
don't think they understand that.
I know. I don't
Oh,
think
absolutely.
I don't think they
lack
understand
the common
hardly
sense.
anything.
There was another video that this was another problem with the generation that kind of shows you. Guy had his hat backward, sunglasses kind of like you wear on your shirt, and he was going like this. And then it showed arrows.
Yeah.
You have all the tools given to you, but you don't use them.
It's crazy.
Ain't it?
It's crazy.
Ain't it
Did
amazing?
you just say ain't it?
Ain't it?
Nice. Yeah, it's amazing someone can be in their mid-20s and never done their own taxes. Mommy and daddy pays for their cell phone. Mommy and daddy pays for their
Everybody's
car
so baby.
insurance. They've never rented an apartment. They're pushing 30 and they live with mom and dad. They don't have their driver's license yet.
I remember I was going
It's
to
like,
high
holy
school.
shit.
This girl who was my age had a 2010 baby blue Mustang GT soft top. I had a 91 S10 that didn't run because I worked for it. Mama bought her that car.
Yeah.
I was just like, God damn, man. What the fuck?
It's kind of funny that these 70-year-old white-haired, white male, right-wing Republicans are bitching about entitlement, and meanwhile they got their 40-year-old son living in their house with them that still doesn't have a driver's license.
Fucks up all his sheets and keeps jerking off on it.
That's entitlement. Why don't you start with your own family?
People look outside before they look inside.
Oh, for sure.
They look at the outside world and then they don't even pay attention that I'm bitching about the problems that I have right now, but I'm not even caring
I
about
posted a thing on Facebook today, and it was a, again, I'm going to bash Fox this episode, but it was a Fox News program, and a lady was bitching about old people and saying, we shouldn't have to pay for old people. And they were talking specifically about Social Security and Medicare. Okay, dumbass,
Social
I
Security's
pay
for you.
I paid for it.
Yeah.
It comes out of my check since I was 14 years old.
Yeah, it
I've
comes
earned
back,
that shit,
yeah.
bitch. So how dare you, Fox News right-wing Republicans? You don't. Social Security is something I've earned. I've paid for. It's already bought and paid for.
You're not paying Social Security for me.
You owe it to me.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and say just because I'm old, all of a sudden I don't deserve it. And secondly, what happened to compassion? What happened to caring about humanity and caring about your neighbor?
Everybody is
Because you're a
about
Christian. You're
Yeah.
a Christian, so love thy neighbor. But it's like a dog-eat-dog society
It's
now.
I, me, mine, and not yours.
Yeah, it's
I, me, mine? That's a Beatles song.
there's no
I, me, mine.
there's no scarcity in this world. Scarcity is an imagination. There's plenty. You know, there's plenty of food on this world for everyone. No one should go without.
Oh, yeah.
It wastes too much.
You know, the only people
We have stores for our stores.
the people who create the scarcity concept is the people getting rich off of it.
We're baby. We're spoiled
You know, it's
little
it's
bitches.
rich
my
people
nose.
lying to you, telling you this person's taking your job or this person's brown and they're
That's too much Alabama. You need to dial it down.
yeah, I don't know what that was. That's too much
Yeah,
alcohol.
There you go.
That's South Park, man. They
Is
took
that
our
what you did?
jobs. Trust my South Park.
Yeah. I don't buy the concept. There's no scarcity.
No, man, go to landfills. There's
Or
like fucking 800
us
pounds
versus
of lettuce.
them.
I promise you, I have been thinking for numerous years on what we could do to substitute, what we could substitute for money.
Hey, let us know if you want us to start vlogging dumpster diving.
Trades and
And,
services.
and the only thing that I could come up with that we could use to substitute for money was emotion. Because
Compassion.
emotion is something that is grasped by all human beings across the planet. It has no physical
So
representation.
give me your bike, I'll give you some emotion.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I'll give you a hug.
There's gotta be. There's
You got
gotta
a
be.
title on you?
You-
Let's get this moving, man. Come on, let's
Like-
get this ball rolling.
But I mean, there's an issue in that by turning like love and pride
Into greed.
into something that you use as a form of currency, even though that it has no physical representation. You can't turn love or pride into a form of. You can't give it a number. You can't give it a value. It will turn into one. It will turn into one of the deadly sins.
Well, we've talked about this before, and part of the Venus Project is, you know, here's a guy, an engineer in the early 1970s that saw robots, you know, taking everyone's jobs. Eventually, you wouldn't need people because robots will do everything, right?
Oh, I complain about that at work so often.
So his concept was you build a city, an ultimate utopian city would be everyone does a trade that they enjoy. Carpenters like to build.
But then,
Chefs
what
like to
would
cook.
you do with the people who don't want to do anything?
I don't like the stock liquor at
Well,
the end of the day.
that would be part of the deal, and you would have to use like.
You would have to give people.
He's not gonna let me talk at
Go for it. I'm sorry.
all.
I'm just trying to fucking interject on what you're saying.
I know, but you can't
Saying
interrupt
my
in
point.
mid sentence.
But I did.
I know.
Counterbalance.
You would have to excommunicate them. Right.
Excommunicate.
There would be a
But then you would give a
Boot off the
value
island.
system to humans, and you would value some humans more important than other humans.
no in
That's
a
where
city.
excommunication
in a city,
comes from.
It's like you have to have boundaries. You have to have, otherwise you have mooches, right? So part of the agreement to live in this community is everyone's equal, so you all need to share.
So
If
then,
one
what
person
do the
doesn't
people
carry their
who
load, they
don't?
gotta go.
What do the people who aren't involved do?
Everyone's involved to some degree or another, right?
Yeah, but the people who get excommunicated, what
They've
do
got to
they
start their own community somewhere else.
Get the
They're
fuck
not a
on
part of
out
this
do?
of
one.
here.
That's not everyone being equal then.
Yeah, but how else do you solve that problem? Do you jail them? You gotta do something, right?
Not excommunicating them does not solve
what's your
any
answer?
problem.
What's your answer?
It would probably be something more along the lines of setting up a hierarchy.
Your government?
If you want to put this much effort into it, then you can live here. If you don't want to put this much effort into it, you can live here. But basically, baseline, everyone gets this.
So you're sectioning people off.
No, you're setting a baseline, and you're saying if you want to go above that baseline, you are
What if they
awarded
refuse to do
other
the
items.
baseline?
Yeah.
Well, the baseline would
Like,
be
they don't want to do anything.
Exactly.
They just want to eat food for free.
that would be the baseline.
So we're just going to give everyone free food?
Absolutely.
For no goods or services.
That sounds nonsense. What about the people starving? They don't fucking do anything. We shouldn't just give them food.
That's a good point. Yeah. But
There
anyway,
should be a baseline of keeping every human being alive and healthy. That should be the baseline. Boom. You shouldn't have to fucking do anything ever, forever. Blammo. You get food. You get healthcare. You get a place to exist.
What are you running for president now?
If you want to go beyond that, that's fine. There's tiers. If you do this much, you get to be in tier 1. If you do this much, you get to be in tier 2. You get to be this much, you get to be in tier
Tiers?
3.
the point of the Venus Project.
Yeah, I mean, tiers have to exist because there's got to be room for growth. There's got to be a bottom and there's got to be a top, or else people aren't going to exist anywhere.
You sound like a corporation.
That's the new concept. That's your new brain.
Yeah.
For thousands of years, there were no tiers. It's called egalitarian.
Goddamn-lutely there was tiers.
And
Were there
wasn't.
shamans?
No. Even
Were there
before
people
then.
who farmed?
No.
Were there people who
No.
cooked?
No.
Yes,
for
there were
thousands of
individual
years.
peoples who cooked food. There
No.
were people who
Well, everyone had a
hunted.
task, but there weren't. It
That's
wasn't
the
a
same
hierarchy
goddamn
like you're
thing.
talking about.
It's a tier.
It's not a hierarchy
tier
like
system.
you're talking about.
Yeah, but we live in a society of money now, so we can't just go
Right.
back to.
I'm not gonna argue with you all fucking
We
day.
got to tweak it
Cut it.
so it works for everybody.
Cut it.
Fine, cut it.
I can't do this with you, man.
That's cool.
All you want to do is argue. You want to talk, but you don't want to listen.
I am listening
No,
to
you're
you.
not. All you're doing is talking. Every time I'm trying to say something, you interrupt.